Hi there, Dini here. In this video, we are going to delve and discuss how to make a cut tally. So I just call it that, but you can call it any term you want. So the goal or the purpose of this step is to determine the number of pieces of paper or sheets that you need for your whole paper flower backdrop. This will largely help you in the production process because you will be able to know how many sheets of paper you need to order beforehand, how many stacks of paper you need for each piece of your flower, so on and so forth. From the previous step, we have determined the exact flowers, or basically you have decided on what flowers that you're going to use, how many pieces of that particular flower you're going to use. In this step, we are going to break that flower apart. So the first step basically here is to lay out the pieces. And of course, by now, you should be able to know what paper you're gonna use. So for example, let's say the Dahlia Cafe au lait, the purple Dahlia Cafe au lait. So I am going to use purple for that one, and that is the sheet is a letter size paper, or an 8.5 by 11, but I usually cut in a horizontal format, so that would be like 11 by 8.5. So what I usually do is I lay out the components in one sheet. So I usually bunch up the same components in one sheet. So that way I do know how many components I can fit in one sheet of letter size paper. So good news, a lot of our templates in our website at dwblooms.com/workshops are already laid out in a letter size paper horizontal format. If you were able to get one, and if it's not laid out and you need a laid out version, then just to reach out and I will send a laid out version for you. So once you have determined how many components you can fit in one sheet of paper, I do list it, or I do input the values in Microsoft Excel, or there's a paid version which is Google Sheets. For Google Sheets, you just need a Gmail account, which is also free. So what I basically do here is I do lay out the components in one sheet. So I do, as much as possible, I do bunch up or fit same components in one sheet. But of course, you can also mix up the other components together. Like for example, for the centers 1 and 2, I do mix it with centers 4 and 3 of the 18-inch Dahlia. In our table, you can label that. So I centers 2 and 1. So it's less confusing, but I personally don't do that anymore. It's really up to you. I do then place how many pieces are needed in one flower. So it's important that you know how many pieces of, like for example, petal 1, 2, so on and so forth is needed in one flower, and then I do place it here in the first column. So for example, petal 2, we do need 31 pieces, petal 1, we do need 21 pieces, so on and so forth. And then on the next column, I do place in how many components fit in one sheet. So for example, with petal 2, which is the largest petal, so 4 pieces fit in one sheet. With petal 1, the smaller petal, 5 pieces fit in one sheet. And then for the third column, this is the value when you divide this column, which is the quantity, by this, which is how many pieces of components are there in one sheet. So value A divided by value B, you get the pieces of paper that you will need for all of those components. So for example, for petal 2 alone, I will be needing 8 pieces of letter size paper, and do this for everything. So if there's like an excess of like a whole number, if there's like a decimal, it just means that we round it off to the next higher value. It's better to have more pieces rather than less, because you cannot really complete a whole flower with less components. So I rounded them off, and what you're gonna do is just add all of these, and basically this is the answer of how many sheets of paper I do need for one 18-inch Dahlia Cafe au lait. And take note, if you are going to use a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, then of course this is going to look different. More or less, there will be more components that will fit in one sheet. Do take note of that. This computation is just for letter size. Basically, for all of the types of your flowers, do the same procedure that we did for this one. And after that, we are going to go ahead and compute the number of papers needed for the whole wall. The problem that we solved here, so 18 pieces, I am going to place here. So I don't know why this is 15, but let's make this 18. Oh yeah, 15 because this is 12 by 12. Okay, there you go. So in this page or in this sheet in Google Sheets, basically, I divided all of the flowers needed per color. So for example, for the green flowers or for the green dahlias, I have listed here the types of flowers that I will be needing in that color. And then I also noted that for green, so I used 12 by 12 basil aloe, so that's what I used for the green, and it's 12 by 12, so it will have a different computation compared to light purple, lavender, and blue, which is a letter size paper. So we have here like here 18-inch Dahlia Cafe au lait. I'll be needing 18 sheets per flower. So that's here. So everything that you have computed in the previous step, you will be placing here in the first column. And then if you remember in step number 3, we have determined how many pieces of flour or the particular flour we do need. So everything there, you will place it here. For example, for the green flour, or I will be needing a green 18-inch Dahlia Cafe au lait, so place it here. For light purple, so I will be needing 5 pieces. And then on the third and last column here, basically this is this value, sheets per piece, multiplied by this value, which is the quantity of this flour you need. And basically for 5 pieces of 18-inch Dahlia Cafe au lait, we will be needing 90 sheets of paper. So we are going to get the subtotal, which is all of this, which is the sum of all of this. So you just do that same procedure, add all of these values, and then basically for green 12 by 12 cardstock, we will be needing 104 pieces. Purple, I will be needing 83. Lavender, I will be needing 190. And then for the blue one, I will be needing 189. However, as I have mentioned, more or less, you will be needing like extras. So don't forget to add, like for example, I might be needing an 18-inch. Let's add one. Let's add one here. And then here, let's add one more here. And then I might be needing like one big one. Let's add 3, 4 here. So once you, the good thing with doing this in Google Sheets is that once you change the value, once you add or subtract the value, everything else will follow since you have these formulas. Yeah, so basically, once you get all of your values, you are ready to go into step number 5, which is do the work. That's how I create my cut tally. And aside from knowing how many sheets of paper you need for the whole backdrop, it also, or doing a cut tally also helps in knowing how many sheets of paper you need per component. Most especially if you're gonna make a sort of kind of complicated flower like the Dahlia Cafe au lait, it really helps to know how many sheets of paper you need for your component, because that's gonna be a part of part 5, which is doing the work. So this process is very helpful pre-production or like in the planning stage. Before we go, please do like this video and subscribe to our channel. So I really am working to produce videos, educational videos regularly. We will be publishing, or we will be releasing the next video not long after this, I promise. Yes, I really promise. But do check out the next video, or this is the last step, next and last process of making a paper flower wall. So see you there.